At 05:32 a.m., a Ukrainian HIMARS launcher tears a hole in the morning fog over the Dnieper swamps. It has just fired a $1 million rocket at the single most dangerous target on Earth, Russia's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, Europe's largest. But the moment that rocket screams off the rails, this truck becomes the most wanted vehicle in Ukraine. Russian counter-battery radar has already pinpointed their location. 8 minutes. That's how long the crew has before Russian Su-35s turn this swamp into a parking lot. So how do you buy 8 minutes when a fighter jet is closing in at Mach 2? You don't, you steal them. As the HIMARS races for a new hiding spot, the Leleka 100 drone releases its payload, a pair of FPV drones. They are magician's assistants designed to create chaos. But they are also carrying a secret weapon, a $10 Raspberry Pi sensor. They are digital spies sent to listen in on how Russia's billion-dollar air defense network screams when it's panicking. That data, every frequency, every lock-on time from the S-400s and Panzers is the real prize. It's the key to making the next attack 20% deadlier. Because for Ukraine, victory isn't about one rocket hitting one roof. It's about stealing the playbook to win the entire game, even if it costs them a couple of $1 million pawns to do it. At 05:32 local time, an alarm screams through the Russian control room at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. On their $1 billion radar screen, a single target has appeared out of the fog, streaking towards them at over 2,500 miles per hour. Every indicator screams rocket, except one. The electronic signature it's broadcasting is that of a cheap, clumsy Iranian drone. It's a contradiction moving at Mach 3.5, a high-speed puzzle the Russian computers can't immediately solve. For precious few seconds, the most advanced air defense network in the world is paralyzed by pure confusion. It seems Ukraine's high-tech bluff is working perfectly. The rocket is a ghost slipping through the net. Then, at 05:32 and 45 seconds, the illusion shatters. The lead S-400 system, the alpha predator of the network, ignores the confusing signature. Its powerful computers do the cold, hard math of trajectory and speed, and it comes to one terrifying conclusion: that is a hostile ballistic missile. The entire network comes alive. But just as the Panzer S-1 systems begin to lock on, Ukraine plays its first car. At 05:33 and 05 seconds, 6 miles from the plant, the Leleka drone that has been circling patiently like a vulture makes its move. It dives, releasing its first FPV drone. The FPV kamikaze spits out a cloud of mylar foil. It's like throwing a handful of glitter directly into a high-tech security camera. On the Russian radar screen, the world goes insane. The single high-threat target is instantly lost in a digital blizzard of hundreds of harmless false contacts. The Panzer S-1's computer brain does what any panicked computer would do. It defaults to its programming and shoots at the biggest, loudest thing it sees. A $1 million interceptor missile screams into the sky, a pillar of smoke and fire. Its target, $10 worth of party supplies. A flawless and utterly pointless interception. For a moment, it looks like a stunning Ukrainian victory. They've completely outsmarted the system. But the S-400 never fell for the trick. It ignored the glitter. While the Panzer was busy chasing ghosts, the main system did its real job. It tracked the rocket's flight path all the way back through the fog to the swamp and calculated the exact launch point. At 05:33 and 15 seconds, a kill order is sent. 2 Su-35 fighter jets, the best Russia has, are now screaming towards that swamp. ETA 8 minutes. An Mi-8 helicopter loaded with Rosgvardia Special Forces lifts off to join them. The HIMARS crew has now trapped their location exposed. The brilliant decoy trick has failed to hide them. They have no idea their target is already long gone. The second that rocket launched, the HIMARS crew was moving. Shoot and scoot isn't just a tactic, it's a religion. The 13-ton vehicle is already nearly 2 miles away, tearing through the mud at over 80 miles per hour, racing for its next pre-planned hiding spot. Back at the plant, the Russian operators realize they've been played. Having wasted precious time and a $1 million missile on a ghost, the Panzer finally reacquires the real rocket. It's too late for a clean shot. It fires a second interceptor in a rush. At 05:33 and 30 seconds, 10 miles from the plant, the sky flashes. The first HIMARS rocket is destroyed, its fragments falling harmlessly into an empty field. In the Russian control room, they are celebrating a successful kill. What they don't know is that their entire defensive playbook, every frequency, every lock-on time, every panicked decision was just recorded by that harmless FPV drone and its $10 Raspberry Pi sensor. Russia thinks it just won the point, but Ukraine just stole their secrets. In his van, Coyote waits for exactly 1 minute. It's a calculated pause designed to prevent Russia from tracking 2 launches simultaneously. He gives the order. At 05, 34, and 30 seconds from their new hiding spot in a muddy field, the HIMARS launcher fires its second rocket. This time the Russians are ready. They aren't confused. They are angry. The Panzer S-1 system locks on almost instantly, its radar cutting through the fog. It has a clean, perfect lock at 15 miles. For a moment, it looks like the rocket is dead before it's even begun its journey. But this rocket is different. It's carrying its own magic trick. 10 miles from the target, as the Panzer prepares to fire, the nose cone of the HIMARS rocket bursts open, deploying a cloud of radar-reflecting chaff. On the Russian radar screen, a single perfect target suddenly blossoms into a chaotic mess. The 1.2-second processing delay as the computer tries to find the real rocket again is a gift. An eternity in missile warfare. At the same time, the Krasuka-4, Russia's premier electronic warfare system, roars to life. It blankets the area in a powerful jamming signal attempting to sever the Starlink connection to the HIMARS. The problem is the rocket doesn't care. It stopped listening to satellites the moment it launched. It's now navigating on pure instinct, using its internal gyroscopes to feel its own way to the target. In the Russian control room, an operator screams, "Where did the second one go?" The hunt is now on 3 levels. Level 1, the digital battlefield where the Krasuka is fighting a ghost. Level 2, the sky. The 2 Su-35s are now just 30 miles out. They know they can't trust the radar, so they switch to IRST, a system that hunts for heat. In the cold, damp swamp, the HIMARS truck with its hot engine and electronics should be glowing like a bonfire. But the thick fog and mist are acting as a natural cloak, scattering the heat signature and cutting the IRST's effective range in half. The Russian pilots are flying blind. Level 3, the ground. The Mi-8 helicopter arrives at the first launch point and deploys 20 Rosgvardia soldiers. They storm the empty swamp boots, sinking in the mud, AK-47s ready. They are professional tough and over 3 miles away from where the HIMARS actually is. The Su-35s are getting closer. The fog isn't enough. Pilot gets a fleeting thermal signature lock on the HIMARS truck as it slides on a muddy road. The crosshairs are closing in. This is the moment. This is where the crew dies. Then, from above, the Lelika drone plays its final card. It releases its second FPV drone. This one isn't carrying foil. It's carrying a $50 smoke grenade. It dives low 20 feet over the fleeing HIMARS and deploys its payload. A thick, billowing cloud of smoke envelops the truck. To the Su-35's sophisticated heat-seeking sensor, the HIMARS has just vanished from existence. The lock is broken. Ukraine just used a cheap smoke bomb to troll a $20 million fighter jet. But the chaos has bought the Panzer system the time it needed. It reacquires the rocket. An interceptor launches. At 05:35 and 45 seconds, just 5 miles from the plant, the second HIMARS rocket is blown out of the sky. In the cockpit of his Su-35, the Russian pilot sees the explosion and knows he's lost his chance. In Coyote's van, he sees the second rocket disappear from his screen. He slams his fist on the console. 2 down. We have 1 shot left, he growls into the radio. Make it count. From a sparse forest nearly 2 miles from their last position, the third and final HIMARS rocket ignites, screaming into the sky. This is it, the last shot, and this time there's a new decoy. The Lelika drone is out of tricks. It has no more FPVs to drop, so it does the only thing it can. It becomes the bait itself. Diving down to just 20 feet above the swamp, its $10 Raspberry Pi screams a fake electronic signature mimicking a high-priority missile. It's a final desperate kamikaze bluff, and the Russians, already trigger-happy and humiliated, fall for it hook, line, and sinker. The Panzer operators see the low, fast-moving target and don't think twice. Another $1 million interceptor is wasted on a $15,000 drone that has already served its purpose. In the Zaporizhzhia control room, the operators are staring at screens full of noise. Thick steam from the cooling towers now making their sophisticated radars effectively blind. An operator slams his fist on the console. I can't see anything. The hunt in the sky is also reaching its climax. The Su-35 pilot sees the thick cloud from the smoke grenade still lingering over the second firing position. Got you, he thinks a predator closing in. He fires a radar-guided R-77 missile not at where the HIMARS is, but at where it was 2 minutes ago. While every Russian gun is pointed the wrong way, the final rocket becomes a true ninja. It hugs the Dnieper River using the thick steam from the plant itself as a shield. Its AI spoofing system is now broadcasting a dozen different false signals, making the S-400's brain in. At 05:38 in 10 seconds, the final rocket arrives. The 500-pound warhead doesn't just explode, it executes the Monroe effect. In a microsecond, the shaped charge focuses the entire blast into a single focused jet of superplasticized metal moving at hypersonic speed. It punches a clean, foot-wide hole through the reinforced concrete roof of the training center. Ukraine has just turned their $50 million simulator into a sunroof. The mission is a success, but the crew isn't safe yet. The Su-35 pilot, realizing he's been duped, unleashes a Fab 500 bomb on the empty swamp in pure frustration, a $100,000 temper tantrum. The HIMARS van is fishtailing on the mud engine, screaming as it races for the tree line. The pilot's R-77 missile fired moments before screams past them, exploding just 165 yards behind them, showering the vehicle with dirt and shrapnel. Miles away, its job done, the Lalika drone self-destructs in a final silent flash, ensuring its secrets are never captured. In Coyote's van, he just looks at his screen where a single successful impact is confirmed. Score 1 for the good guys, he says, a grim smile on his face. The final missile struck the dome of the training center. There was no catastrophic damage, no threat to the reactors, just a $50 million simulator, the brain of the entire facility, now sitting under a brand new custom-made skylight. For the 500 Russian technicians, class is canceled indefinitely. The risk of them making a fatal manual error just jumped by 40%. The International Atomic Energy Agency is about to have a very busy week. By 05:40 local time, as Coyote's HIMARS crew races through the fog, finally breaking free and heading for the safety of Nitro, who's not just running, he's uploading. The Starlink dish on his van is beaming a priceless treasure trove of data back to Kyiv. Because those two FPV drones, the ones that seemed like disposable decoys, were actually spies. Their $10 Raspberry Pi sensors were recording everything. Every radar frequency the S-400 used. Every lock-on sequence the Panzer attempted. Every jamming pulse the Krasuka 4 broadcasted. It's the entire playbook of Russia's most heavily defended asset. That data will be fed into Ukraine's AI, and the next time they face a Panzer, their missiles will be 20% harder to spot and hit. And what about the Great Russian Hunt? At 05:40 local time, exactly 8 minutes after the first launch, the Su-35s finally arrive over the empty swamp. They drop their $100,000 bombs on a patch of mud. The Rosgvardia Special Forces are still trying to get the swamp out of their boots, having found nothing. The Russian commander on the ground is screaming into his radio. Where did they go? They're gone. And they left Russia holding a bill for millions of dollars in wasted missiles, wasted fuel, and a shattered sense of security. Like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments, if you were Coyote, could you have escaped that Su-35? And if you want to help fund Ukraine's next rocket party, check out the Ko-fi link in the description.